Ever wish you could give your 20-year-old self a little pep talk? Well, on today's episode, we're doing just that. Welcome to the Black Girl Bravado podcast, your weekly fix for all things mental health and wellness. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Germany. And not only are we besties, but we're your besties. You heard me right. It's homegirl vibes here.
Get ready for the girls to dish the real, the raw, and the fucking funny.
And listen, we may drag you, but it's always in love. Let's start the show, cuties.
Well, hello.
Really, I should be doing this.
Hello. Wow.
Hello, y'all.
Welcome
Hey, y'all.
back to you and to us, to you and to we.
Yeah. But when's the last time I seen you? Today I was like getting ready. I'm like, when's the last time I seen this girl?
Sunday.
Sunday? Oh, yeah, church. Okay. Well, it's been a week.
Yeah.
That's a week. Hey, y'all. It's been way longer than a week, though, since we've been in here,
It
y'all.
honestly has. It's been months.
We opened up the door and had to step through and remove cobwebs, blow the dust off of these mics,
Listen,
camera,
the
wipe that down.
headphones,
The neon
shine up
sign was
things,
on this whole
turn
time,
on
which
the
is
lights,
crazy.
Turn off the lights.
We need to turn on the lights.
Yeah, the lights are on. The mics are on.
Yeah.
We're on.
We're back.
We're back.
How are you feeling?
Did you miss us?
I think they did.
I'm feeling good.
I would have missed us.
I would have
If
too.
my favorite podcast was gone for 2 months?
Yeah,
For 2 months, something that's a part of my routine, my Tuesday morning routine,
right.
I would be like, come on, girls.
Same.
Get it
'Cause
together
I have
and come
podcasts
back.
that I listen to, and when the day they're supposed to be uploaded, I'm in my
Looking for it.
podcast app like,
Yeah.
where's the episode?
Where are you?
And it better be good.
Yeah. But we need a little break and we're back.
But we did need a break. I feel refreshed.
Good.
I feel refreshed. But baby, you don't realize how much you need a break until you really take one. And then once you're into it, it's like, ooh, this could be longer.
I actually like it here.
This could be
Start
longer.
stretching out in that thing.
So yeah, before we took a break, I was telling y'all that I got a new job and I had to get acclimated to being in a new working environment and also not working from home any longer. And so now I feel like I'm in a stride with that, and so it feels good to be able to come back.
Yeah.
And figure out how this works back into the mix, because baby, the way I was unsturdy, unstable,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God, my legs aren't under me. I'm actually on my ass. But yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I too am feeling refreshed. It was nice to not have to, rack my brain and just really live life. And I think that's another thing, like you mentioned, you don't really know how much you need a break until you're in it. And you also don't realize how much life you aren't living and how your life has become monotonous and routine until you are like, not doing some of the things that are a part of your routine. So I feel like over this last 2 months, we were really able to just like go out and have a good time and experience life. And I feel like it's those moments where you get refueled and filled back up to be able to pour back into the pod, because you have a perspective and a vantage point to speak from.
Right.
Because as working girlies, corporate girlies, that in and of itself is already very routine, right? Like get up at the same time, commute to work, doing the same thing at work, getting home. And when you have
robotic.
Yeah, when you have other obligations such as things like this that require the same amount of energy and effort, where it requires a routine, there's little to no room for fun and like carefree ease, just like leaning into just relaxing experiences and living life. So I'm glad we were able to do that. It felt like 2016 all over again, 2016 was a blast.
I haven't felt 2016 yet. I feel like
What?
nothing can compare.
I mean, maybe nothing can compare, but
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying, like where we were in the flow of like doing stuff, having fun and stuff, like especially y'all. My man was away for a couple weeks.
Maybe that's what was making it feel 2016 to you,
Yeah.
because
When
you
he was
had a
out.
different type of freedom.
Yeah, I feel like we were just doing our thing. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. And I'm not saying obviously that we don't do those things because I'm in a relationship, but it's just different the way that you are able to like immerse yourself in the friendship when you don't have another relationship to consider at the time.
Right.
Like it's just me getting up, moving around, doing my thing. So it's like, girl, what we doing?
Yeah.
So it was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I even told you, I said, bitch, this feels like the good old days. One day, y'all, we were up and out like from early in the morning. What did we do? I feel like we went to a graduation. What did we do that day?
Oh, that's the day we went to the baby shower, and then we went to Dot to celebrate Jessica's graduation.
Yes, but we were out like all day because the baby shower started relatively early, so we were up, dressed cute for that, and then it was like impromptu that we were gonna go out. I'm like, do you want to do this tonight? And we were just going with the flow, like, yeah, being spontaneous.
Right.
So then we went home, changed our clothes, got back out. Now, girls, we don't do that often.
No,
if it's not on the docket,
it was hard to do.
I know,
but I have fun.
Yeah, we have fun.
That's why sometimes, even when it feels hard to do stuff, you should push yourself to do it, because it feels hard because you're in your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. You know, like you're doing what you normally do. Like, oh yeah, normally this would be it for the day, and I'll just go home, and this will be my night.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed what was on the other side.
Yeah.
Of getting my ass up.
Yeah.
And going.
It was good. I've had a good time, but I'm happy to be back here, because when I was getting ready this morning, I was thinking, I feel like it's easy to get into that, oh, damn, here we go again, you know, where you feel like you about to have to bear crawl through it. But I was like, no, I'm not going to have that mindset. I had a break. I was on vacation. I feel refreshed. I'm good. And like, I need to stay in that energy so that I can come here in like positive spirits and do this thing well while we're here. Like, it's a choice that I'm making to do this. Nobody's forcing me.
Right.
So I feel good about my choice, and I'm happy to be here with you. I was excited to see you today.
Oh,
I was like, oh, I haven't seen her. Although we've seen each other at church, it was brief. It was brief, you know? So
we saw each other after too, at the conversation shebang.
Oh, we did. Never mind. We spent all day together. I don't know what we're talking about. My memory. Yeah. But yeah, it's good to be back. Sidebar, just so that you all know, we apologize if you hear any background noise, or any other voices
other than ours.
But focus on us, okay? Focus on our voices for the sake of today, because we got some loud, rude motherfucking neighbors. Yeah. And we even asked them to keep it motherfucking down, and they looking at us like we didn't ask. It's like, okay. Right. So bear with us as we're bearing with them. Thank you.
Anywho. Now that we got that out the way, we're back.
Oh my goodness.
We are back here, and we thought that it'll be good to kick off our return with a special episode. So as y'all know, we're in our mid-30s. Wow. Every time I say that, I'm like, are we still in the mid this year, or do we transition to late?
No. We're in the mid for one more year.
Thank God.
36.
I don't want to be in the late yet. I do not want to be in the late yet. I'm sorry. I want to be in the mid, because it feels like they're flying by. Time is flying by.
Yeah, we still got a year in the mid.
Yeah, we're still in our mid-30s, and we understand the pressure that you may be feeling to have your lives figured out, whether you're in your 30s or especially if you're in your 20s. I know when I was in my 20s, I was feeling like I had to have so many things in place that are not even in place today.
Right.
And I'm okay. But when I was younger, in my 20s, I felt like, oh my God, they said that we had to have this by now.
Yeah.
I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And it feels even heavier when people who are the same age as you have accomplished or acquired those things. Yeah, it feels like, okay, milestones. So it's happening. Mm-hmm. It's just not happening for me. Yeah. And it can be a lot. But as we've matured, I can assure you that some things just aren't that deep, and everything does not have to be figured out in this decade of your 20s, and it's not going to be figured out. And even when you think that you have some things figured out, shit changes, you know?
Yeah.
So we thought that it would be important to have a conversation about some of the things that we would tell our younger selves, to give you hope, to give you encouragement, to let you know that everything is going to be okay. I appreciate hearing from people that are older than me, dropping gems.
Yeah,
I really do.
Like we said, the pressure that you're likely feeling, it comes from all angles, right? It's society, it's cultural, it's your peers, it's from people hitting milestones that maybe you're not hitting yet or haven't come yet. So yes, we do understand, and we also want to remind you that your 20s is not about figuring it all out. right? It's not about figuring out how you're gonna get this done, when you're gonna get this done. It's really about figuring out who you are. So if you are a girly in your 20s and you're listening to this, I feel like it's even more special, more important for you to hear this message right now to help you take some of the edge off. Because I feel like if I would have heard it, then I would have been like, okay, a bitch can relax. Because this time is really for you to be embracing self-discovery and exploration. And like I said, really understanding what it is that you like, who you are. This decade is going to set the foundation for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Honestly. And
it's a foundational decade.
It
sure.
really is the defining decade.
Yeah, that book, that's a great book to read, by the way. If you have not read The Defining Decade, I can't recall the author right now, but just Google it, The Defining Decade. That was such a good book to read.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
The Defining Decade, which is really about like taking hold of your 20s, because this is the decade that's going to really change things and set you up for your 30s, your 40s, your 50s. I feel like everything that you learn in your 20s really is the groundwork for how you going to move in the 30s, y'all. The 30s are great. I really love being in my 30s, but I learned a lot in my 20s, and it's like, okay, I'm not doing that. I won't tolerate that bitch. That's not coming with me this year.
Yeah, and I honestly think every decade is great. I think sometimes when you're looking to the next decade, where people are like, when you get to your 30s, girl, you're going to love it here. When you get to your 40s, let's love it where we are.
Yeah.
Let's love it where we are. The 20s can be great as well, because sometimes I feel like we're like, oh, I just got to get through this struggle period. And then when I get to my 30s, and when you're in your 30s, there is great, but there's also things where you're like, what the fuck still too?
Yeah. I don't think that ever stops. I don't feel like this ever stops.
Yeah.
You kind of get that no matter where you are.
So I think it's important to give some context and discuss the various factors that can contribute to the pressure that we've all felt before we get into some of the things that we would tell ourselves. Let's give some context. So first, career path. When we're in school, we're funneled through this school system. You go to kindergarten, you go to grade school, you go to middle school, you go to high school, you go to college, have your career path, have it figured out. When you get in college, figure out what you want to do. That's what you're going to major in. Then you get out and you need to have a job in that field, and then you go on and you be successful and you're able to live life. Does that always happen like that? Hell no. Most times not. But that's what we're told, right? We're told that that's how it works with the educational system. Then we have media that often highlights, especially, I feel like more now with the Gen Z generation.
Yeah.
Media highlights young entrepreneurs, successful celebrities who probably have achieved success early in life. And you're looking like, I know even as a 30-year-old, sometimes I looked at, how is this young tender?
Yeah.
Thriving.
And Gen Z really has it on lock. I feel like millennials were the first generation to have the internet.
And if you're in your 20s, you are Gen Z.
Yeah, to have the internet. But the way that Gen Z has been able to really use the internet as a tool to like create income. Like I'm looking at some of the girls who are in their early 20s, like baby girl who bought the house in the Hamptons and then went and got the Range Rover and that makes you feel on TikTok, the influencer. Girl, that was all over the place. But I mean, that's just one story. That's one Gen Z girl. But there's so many like that we don't hear about. I mean, Monet. Look at Monet.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, the girls are doing what they need to do. And when you see pictures or images and stories like that, it makes you feel like I'm the same age. I have the same tools. I have the same resources. Why am I not one of those stories?
Yeah, it skews your perception. It feels like that's the norm.
Yeah.
When those are rarities. Like that those stories are magnified and that's what's highlighted, but that's not what most 20-year-olds have or that they're achieving at that age. You know what I'm saying? It's just a social media digital era. But that's not what the hell's really going on in real life.
Yeah. You made a mention about the education. I feel like when we have that linear like process of education, it makes us feel like everything in our lives should be linear. Like, you already have your mind wrapped around, well, this comes after this, and then that comes after that.
High school after middle school, then college after high school.
And then there's no real like flexibility or flow because you only have one way of understanding that progression happens, which is linear. So like grace there, because I feel like that kind of fucks your mind up when it comes to other things, and it's challenging.
And I really think they need to restructure. we really need the education system to be restructured because it creates this linear mindset, and the curriculum does not apply to real life anyway.
Yeah.
Like, what are we
like,
really
why are we
doing
taking
here?
geometry?
Calculus.
Take that out.
I haven't used
Remove
calculus, haven't used geometry. All we needed was basic math.
Yeah.
Unless you're going into STEM, you don't need all that advanced math. All we needed was basic math. We needed to have like
Algebra.
a banking class, knowing how to balance checkbooks. We needed some curriculum around mental health, some real sex education, not that sort of sex education we got. We needed some real life skills.
Yeah, things
That's
to
what
equip
should
the
be
girls.
taught.
For sure. Some classes, even on like stocks, things like that, things that you could really benefit from.
401k investing, you know.
Yeah, 403b.
You know?
Imagine if you would have already had those things lined up when you got out. Like if that was a requirement. Hey, everybody has to get a checking account. Everybody has to get a 403b. Like you can decide what you're going to put in it, but it's here. It's established.
Teach us about loans. Teach us about interest so that when we actually go to college, we're aware.
Yeah.
Like, how dare we skip over all the good stuff?
And then be struggling trying to figure it out after.
And then when we get out there, it's like, okay, you grown, figure it out. How?
Yeah.
How?
And those are the societal expectations, like right there we're talking about, even financial independence. A lot of us, when we finish college, we're just expected to have it, a great job, figure it out, get out of debt, have your money, financial security. Bitch, what? My account is in the negative.
Listen.
I remember when I graduated college, the way I had actually, I was in college. I hadn't graduated yet, but I was early in college. The way I was using my debit card and didn't have any idea, like I would be negative. We did not have mobile banking back then, y'all. You had to call the bank to figure out what your balance was, and I didn't understand that sometimes transactions are delayed.
Yeah.
So I would I would be like, okay, I got $200. I would go to Target, go to the bank. I mean, not to the bank, to the gas station, and it would only charge $1 back then. Remember the pending transaction. By the time all them transactions loaded up, baby, I was negative. I was always having negative overdraft fees.
Back in the day, that grace.
I mean, come on. There's so much pressure for us as young adults to get out of school, have a good job, be financially stable, prepare yourself for your future. Nigga, how?
Listen,
I got loans, like you said. And that's fucked up too, because they expect you to start paying those 6 months after graduation.
When they were calling me, I'm like,
hanging up.
I was.
Don't call me.
My credit score was just declining. My credit score
really? They were deferred because they started your payments and you weren't paying it?
When they started calling me, I was not answering.
Oh.
So eventually they did get deferred. But you can only have them deferred for so long.
Yeah.
At some point you have to pay them. And I'm like, you guys, I don't know why you're calling me.
And it's an unrealistic amount.
It was the credit card companies calling me from the credit cards that I had got in college when no one had taught me a thing about credit cards. No one had taught me a thing. I'm like, they gave me a limit. It has money. I'm at Urban Outfitters. I'm at the movies. I'm using it on food.
And that
and then when it was time for me to get an apartment, the credit score was 5 something. I'm like, oh wow. So I have to
I actually have to take responsibility.
This is following me.
Yeah.
This is following me.
Yeah. You really have I mean, it's sad. I'm sure there are people whose parents maybe have taught them these things, but a lot of us, we just get out in the field and start figuring it out. Because the previous generation, they weren't giving us as many tools as I feel like the girls now have. You have podcasts, you have books, you have the internet, digital age, TikTok, YouTube. There's so many things to help equip you. Y'all, we were just flying by the seat of our pants.
Listen.
Just coming out here raw, figuring it out, doing what everybody else said we should do.
I know.
A mess. Okay, y'all. So another societal expectation are marriage and family, right? Considering that everybody should be married and starting a life by the time you turn 25, which puts even more pressure on you to find the one. Because then we're all thinking, okay, I need to have this baby. I got to do this. I got to do that. Again, doesn't make it any better.
Making people the one who don't need to be the one.
Yeah, we're going to get there, though. It makes it worse when you see your homegirl. Sometimes people are. I had a best friend who was married young. She was married at 25.
I do, too.
Had her first kid at 26. So that already was putting pressure on me because I'm like, oh, wow, we really are supposed to be doing it like that. I know,
that's what I'm saying. When you already have that's embedded in you, that's pushed on you, and then you see someone who's so close to you, like a best friend, do it. It's like, this is what's supposed to happen. The same thing happened with me. I'm like, okay, she's married. Now the girl has a kid. I'm like, I at least need to be married. I never felt the pressure of the kids, really. Actually, I remember saying, if I don't have kids by 30, I'm not having them.
I feel like that's been everybody's tone. I feel like everybody has sang that song.
I remember saying that.
I've sang that song.
I was more open to them then.
Yeah, I remember around 26, I was feeling this real. I don't know if it was as maternal as it was time clock. Me feeling like I needed to have these markers, these boxes checked off by certain times. But I was like, bruh, I'm 26. Like
maybe it was because Adrian had just had a baby.
I don't know. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I had been in this relationship that I was in for so long, and I was yearning for us to like have another step. Yeah, like either we're going to move together, let's get married, let's have a baby. I was like really wanting something to happen for us to prove like, see, it was all worth it. You know, like we got this thing. And I was really like,
and having a baby make it be the marker of it all being worth it is crazy.
Mindset though. Growth.
I know.
You know, hindsight is 20/20.
I'm speaking from hindsight.
Yeah, really, I wanted to be married. There's so much that I'm going to tell y'all about the relationship. We just saying that there is a lot of pressure from society to have your person get married by a certain age, and for sure start a family.
And of course, social media amplifies those pressures because we see people showcasing their families. I know y'all see it. You see the families. You see the proposals.
Yeah, proposals.
Yeah, you see it all. And it's like, damn.
Where's mine?
Where's mine?
Where's my calling?
Where's mine? Where's my thing? Where's my moment?
Yeah.
That I can jump into the mix and
that I can post. That I can post.
Show. I want to show something too.
Yeah.
So there's social media. Then there's the other milestones like home ownership. We see people with the keys. She's a homeowner. You know, you see the just sold. You see it all. And it can make you feel like I should have my home by now. I should have something. And I'm struggling to get approved for an apartment.
Yeah.
They're homeowners and I'm struggling to get approved for an APT.
And also they're homeowners and in this economy. How?
Yeah.
Despite even you understanding what the market is looking like, you still stressed about home ownership.
I know. And you know what? The thing is, we don't even... I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. When I was in my 20s and when I was thinking about wanting these things, I wasn't even thinking about, do I really want this? Or the implications, like what would happen from getting the things. I'm just thinking I need it.
Yeah.
And that's a little scary to think about how many people think like that and make decisions from that place. When it comes to marrying someone, when it comes to buying a home, when it comes to having a child, and you're not even really taking a moment to sit and think about, is this something that I really want for myself? Or am I just doing this because this is what I'm being told I should have? Yeah. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
Making these major commitments. So. Yeah.
Also, the milestones that come with professional or personal achievements. Feeling like you need to be moving up the corporate ladder or having certain markers, checked, boxes checked. That can feel like a lot of pressure. Your homegirl started an entry-level position and now she's a executive CEO, making moves, climbing up the ladder, and you still doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
You're still at the entry.
It's still an entry. It's like,
You're at the entry and she's at the exit.
Exactly. Not making sense. And that will make you feel like, damn, I should be doing more, or when people get big girl jobs, when I was a girly who worked in retail for a long time. I was doing management in retail, but it didn't feel like it was not a corporate 9-to-5 job. And when people transition to the corporate space from 9 to 5 from retail, it's so different. Mm-hmm. So even that mindset of like, wow, you felt like
you need to get out. You felt like you needed to get out of retail.
I needed to get out of retail for a lot of things. I felt like I was too old to, like, number one, I'm like, okay, retail feels like no tea, no shade on anybody who does retail because I know there's girls clocking coins. I just was not working in like a department store or designer, nothing like that. But at my age, I was like, I want to just go to work at a certain time, come home at a certain time. Who wants to be working during holiday at the mall? Working, getting off at 12, fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was only like 25 at the time, but I had just felt like I need to put this down. I've been here since I was 16.
Yeah.
It's time
and
to
I mean,
go.
when I see, some of the people that I hire, they're in their 20-something, like their young 20s, and I'm like, wow, the younger generation really has it figured out. And I'm like, you guys are
moving fast. You're definitely skipping steps in a good way. A good way,
And I love that for y'all.
I do.
There's other overwhelming factors, like we mentioned, debt.
Yeah.
We have the financial strain of debt. We have the job market instability, which is really different now, because back in the day it was much easier to get a job. You know, you can fill in your application, you're getting calls, you have interviews set up, and you have a job fairly quickly. Now that is not the case. And I mean, there's a lot of debate about how long it takes to get a job. Like, people are on Twitter like, you need to apply to 10 jobs a day, and a lot of people feel like that's excessive.
Yeah.
But it took me 7 months to find a job. Thankfully, I had a job.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I already had a job. But, you know, imagine the people who don't. Having 7 months without a job is not good.
Yeah, no, that's tough.
So there's that pressure on you.
Yeah, and there's also constant connectivity, right? Like, we live in the digital age. You are constantly being overwhelmed with what people are doing in their lives, their highlight reel, their ups, their down. Like, you see it all. We see it all. And there's also this element of overwhelming advice, always getting input about what it is that you should be doing, which makes it feel like what you're doing is not enough. That can be challenging.
Yeah.
People wanting to tell you how to do your thing.
Right.
Baby, sit back and you do your shit. Let me do mine.
And then on top of all that, then we have the pressure of trying to define who we are, because we're being told so much, because we're trying to fight through the expectations that are put on us. We kind of struggle, and this is a critical period for self-discovery and personal development, because we're rapidly changing. Like, you're not a kid, but you feel you're independent, but you feel like you don't have all of the systems in place.
I'm not a girl.
I'm
not yet a woman. That's what she said.
Right. And so there's a pressure to have everything figured out when you're still trying to figure out who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
How can I have everything figured out when I'm still trying to discover me? You know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull back the layers from having the parental supervision, from what my friends are doing and what they think, from what society is doing and what they think, what the girls are doing on social.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And to your point, when you say, like, I'm trying to pull back the layers, I'm trying to figure out who I am, I don't think that the girls in the I didn't see myself as that, like I'm trying to pull back the layers, I'm trying to figure out who I am. So again, if you are a girl in your 20s, realize that that's what's happening. You just figure, like, I'm grown,
You're just
baby.
going through life. You're just
like,
going through life, but experience is pulling back the layers.
Yeah.
Situations are pulling back the layers. It might not be an intentional, like, pulling back of the layers, but best believe layers are being pulled.
You don't even realize it, but layers are being pulled. And I think that's something, right? The more we become self-aware of the layers that are being pulled, we can give ourselves grace to not have it figured out. Like, I know what's happening here. I didn't know, y'all. I had no clue that layers were being pulled. I'm just like, something's happening, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But the girls today, our girls in their 20s today, are more mindful. So just stay tapped in. There's also cultural influences that kind of make it difficult to move through your 20s, can make it difficult. And that is like generational shifts, right? Boomers, a lot of our parents, our grandparents were in much different places in their 20s than we are now. The market was different. The cost of the goods were different. Lifestyles, it was really a different world, right? So our grandparents were owning homes in their early 20s, starting families, working on their jobs, having things secured. That's not the reality of our today. So understanding that, like, hey, grandma, hey, grandpa, great grandma, some of y'all great grandmas, my life is not what your life was, it's different for me.
It is.
And giving yourself some grace, because that can also warp your perspective about where you should be. Like, when my mom was this age or when my grandma was this age, they already had this. That's not going to be your story.
Right. We're in a different time period.
Yeah.
The economy's different. Inflation's through the roof. The dating pool isn't the same. People have more choice. They're not. A lot of times people were getting together out of survival and out of necessity, and now people have more freedom, which is like, can be a good thing and a bad thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So things are different. We can't look to them as like the marker, because the situations were different.
No. Definitely draw on your elders' wisdom, but
you can pull on wisdom.
Yeah.
But as far as like
recipes,
age markers, we gotta let that go.
Yeah.
We gotta let that go, because I'm 35 and my mom already had all her kids, and I'm like, what the fuck were you doing?
Same.
What were you doing?
Every time I think about my mom having like kids, literal teenagers around the same age as I am right now, I'm like, how was I already 12, 13 and you were 35?
Right.
Mom, what? I couldn't imagine having a 13-year-old right now. Right. And I know some of the girls do, but I'm just saying I couldn't.
When I think about that, I'm like
shaking.
I'm both like wowed and also like, aw, like so much of your youth was spent.
And I think it's because we feel so young still.
No, it's not because I feel young. It's because even when I'm talking to my mom, she just loves the way that I live my life. And I feel like some of it probably she lives through me because she was real life adulting.
Yeah, she had 4 kids.
She was real life adulting.
For real.
I'm like, yeah.
They were really in the trenches. They were really in the field. I will say it was a different time, different era. And I couldn't imagine.
Right.
I'm happy to be here.
Right.
So what advice would you give your younger self about dealing with societal pressures or the pressure to achieve certain milestones, like buying a house or getting married?
Take a pause.
Take a beat.
Take a beat. No, literally. Take a beat and get really introspective. Like, get really introspective and quiet the noise and say, what do I want?
Yeah.
Like, give yourself the space to consider that, what you actually want. Because I feel like when you sit in certain things, you'll start to realize that a lot of the things you don't want. I don't know if I want to be a homeowner. I don't know, you know, like, I don't know if I want to have those responsibilities, especially at 20. If I don't know now, at 20, I really didn't need to be doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Maybe you're not a marriage girly. Like, we have a homegirl who says she doesn't think she wants to be married. Not to say that she's anti-relationship, but marriage might not be for her.
Yeah.
So it's okay to sit and take a beat and consider if some things are really for you. You know, give yourself the time.
Yeah.
It'll help you not make decisions that you end up regretting.
Yeah.
And I know regret is a part of life, but you know, we're going to make some decisions where it was like, what the fuck was I thinking?
But it wouldn't be those ones that don't really hit you like a ton of bricks.
I know.
Just like a little like, damn, I was wearing my eyebrows like that, or I did that hairstyle, I was following that trend. Those kind of things are like, what the fuck was I thinking? Now I got married to this motherfucker that I really shouldn't have been. I don't want to take those kind of L's.
Yeah, not I got a kid when I didn't really even want to be a mother.
Yeah.
You know, like not stuff like that.
Yeah. It's tough.
What about you? What advice would you give your younger self about the societal pressures?
I think, like I said, echoing your point that, or your sentiments, like, yeah, take a beat and relax. That, like, you don't have to, it's tough to do, y'all. It's tough to not do, rather. Look to your peers as like markers that you should be doing this by a certain age, but really considering, is this something that I want to do? I think with marriage, I would definitely tell myself, girl, slow the fuck down. Like, just because you locked in with somebody or you're in this long-term relationship, this LTR, it doesn't mean that has to be the person that you marry. So, like, really reconsider or consider what it is that you want out of a marriage, and if that person can give it to you, and just be like honest with yourself.
Yeah, and instead of just being like, we need to be married because of the time.
Yeah. Homeownership is an interesting one because in my mid-20s, I was looking at a condo. Like, my mom was encouraging me to buy something when I was like 27-ish, 28. I was looking, and I low-key wish I would have got the motherfucking condo back then, you know, but I was thinking, oh, I have so much time. And I do have time. I'm not concerned about the time. The market is just different than a motherfucker, you know? So I think that I could have been more savvy and maybe just stepped into that, because I feel like it would have been something that I would have been able to manage, especially a condo. That wouldn't have been something that I feel like I'm having a single family home and not a washer or not a radiator, that's on a car.
Gas heater.
Whatever the fuck y'all be buying, water heaters and shit.
You gotta get a whole bunch.
A water heater blew, and now I gotta figure that out.
Or a new roof or something.
Yeah, that would be sending me. I would be calling my mama for that. Mama, the roof need to be repaired.
Listen,
and that don't make no damn sense. I can't call my
mama, so it would be on me.
That don't make no sense calling my mom for the roof. But I think that I wish I would have leaned into that a little more, like not been like, it's okay. Because I was like really in it. Like, okay, I did my approval, had my this, had my that. And I was just like, mom, it's okay. I'll revisit that in a couple years. And a couple years didn't come. And I'm comfortable where I am right now. And I go back and forth about home ownership just because of the conveniences that come with renting, right? If something goes awry in that apartment, I just fucking send a maintenance request. I just notify somebody and it's taken care of. So there is a lot of freedom when it comes to renting, especially in this day and age, in this market. So
especially in California.
In California, for sure. So
other places it could be possibly reconsidered. But yeah. As a Californian,
I don't quite know. Yeah. But yeah, there's time to do it all. Is what I would tell myself. You'll get there. There's some time.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a particular mindset or decision that you wish you would have embraced or adopted in your 20s to alleviate some of the stress that you probably experienced?
Yeah. That everything happens in due time. Like everything that's supposed to happen for me is going to happen in due time, and it's not going to look like anybody else's timeline.
Yeah.
My timeline is not aligned to anybody else's timeline. And I feel like once you relieve yourself of that pressure, then the stress gets relieved, because that's the part that's stressful.
Yeah.
That's the part that really makes you feel like you're up against the wall when you're like, well, they already have it. I need to have it. Oh my God, I'm stressed. That can be from anything. It can be an apartment. It can be a job, a relationship,
a
car. Mm-hmm. It can literally be anything. And it's just not possible for us to all have everything at the same exact time. That's just not realistic. And so just releasing that would help me with my stress. Just understanding that when it's my time, it'll be my time. And
the time is going to come. It can not come.
Right. As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, like that's the part that's in my control. Doing my part, showing up, making sure that I'm steadfast and constantly working towards the things that I want to achieve. That's all that I can control. The time at which it hits is out of my control.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I can do. And it might be somebody else's time. And cheer for them. Root for them. That's another thing. Be happy for other people. Don't be sitting up there like, well, where the fuck is my time, with this negative attitude, and then thinking that you're going to be blessed. That's not right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say everything will happen in due time, and worry about my timeline, the running of your own race.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think I wish I would have adopted a mindset of patience, similar to that, like understanding that everything's going to happen, but allowing myself to really enjoy where I am at the time that I'm in the moment, because you're going to experience all of it. It eventually will show up. So I struggle now, even as a 35-year-old, with like patience and understanding. I'm comfortable with my timeline. I'm just waiting on certain shit to happen in my timeline. I'm not comparing it anymore. I'm just like, okay, let's get this going. Let's get this going. So just exercising more patience. That's a mindset that I wish I had then, and it's something that I'm working on even now. And that's why we keep saying that things don't just shift or turn off or turn on when you get to your 30s or your 40s or your 50s. It's like an evolving process. So if you just accept where you are and enjoy your moments and embrace every moment that you're in, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, etc., then you can alleviate the stress, because you understand, I'm here right now. Right. Here and now. Here and now.
And honestly, I feel like when you get to wherever you're going to get, it doesn't matter how long it took you to get there.
Y'all always say that. It never matters.
It don't. Once you're there, you're just in the groove of things. Like, you're not thinking about how long it took you to get there. When you get married, you're going to be like, okay, I'm married.
Yeah.
Like, what? What is the time that it took to get there going to mean after that?
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
But the human aspect is that the time that it takes you to get anywhere, somewhere, someplace, in the moment you're thinking about it, right? Like the 7 months that you spent to get the job, obviously now that you have the job, it's like, okay, that wasn't so bad. But in the moment,
you're that's my point. My point is, though, alleviate some of the stress, because if you know that you're working towards getting there, when you get there, it's going to be like, I'm here.
I know. I get what you're saying.
I made it. I'm saying that so that you can
relax until you get there.
While you're getting there.
Yeah, the whistle while you work.
Right, because otherwise, what's the point of showing up there frazzled? Showing up there looking electrocuted. Like, damn. You're stressing me out. You're stressing yourself out.
So, yeah, we're going to take a quick break. We've done a lot of talking. So, we're going to take a break and we will be right back. Continuing this conversation, we know that the 20s can drag the girls, right? And it's easier said than done, but really embrace this time as, your explorative and self-discovery period, because this is when you get to literally try new things, explore your interests, and meet diverse people. This is the perfect time for that. I met Brittany in my 20s.
Yeah, we met in our 20s.
We did. We met in our 20s. Like, I did so many new things that I didn't do, obviously, before my 20s, but like, what did I do? I figured, honestly, the 20s were really groundbreaking, the earlier part. I was doing all kind of stuff. We were getting into yoga. We were going to new restaurants. We were trying different things, exploring, like I said, interests, going out, going to different types of festivals, listening to various types of music.
Figuring out the things that we like to do as adults.
Having fun.
Which hasn't much changed. I still like to go out. I still like to go to festivals. I still like live music. I still like to try new restaurants. Maybe I have more money to try fancier ones now.
But it's like, when you get to cultivate.
Yeah, you get to decide what it is that you like to do by trying different things.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's explorative.
Yeah. And so that's why we should definitely set our lives and figure out our success in life by things like that, not by milestones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get out of the milestone mindset. Not to say that there aren't certain milestones that we want to achieve, not completely removing it, but we're not dictating our success or determining our success in life based on those milestones. Like, come on.
Yeah. And milestones aren't how you establish your sense of self. It's through the experiences. That's how you get to know yourself and understand what you like and what it is you're willing to tolerate. It's not by, okay, I checked this box off. I had a baby by this age. Okay, I got married. Okay, I achieved my degree by this time. Okay, I had a career. That stuff don't mean anything. It's the experience and what it took to get there that's going to really help you understand, okay, I'm a persevering type of person. I'm a persistent type of person. I'm a person who can work through adversity. I'm tenacious. I'm kind. I'm generous. Experiences help shape who you are, not the milestones.
Right. I think another thing that we should be focusing on are that y'all, not we, because I'm out of it.
Sort of.
Out of the 20s, at least. I'm not out the woods. I'm out the 20s.
Yeah.
But your mindset. Honestly, I think I would have made a lot of different decisions in my 20s if I would have had a different mindset. This is a time to really start shifting and operating from a growth mindset and not a scarcity mindset. Because if you're a growth mindset type of person, you're thinking about ways to improve. Yeah. You're thinking about there being an abundance. You're thinking about if there's something that you don't like, you can change it. Versus if you have a scarcity mindset, it's like, I got to take what's being given to me. I don't know when I'm going to get another opportunity. I don't know if I'm going to get anything better than this. And you might see that if you stay stuck in that, you're going to have a less fulfilled life. So if you have a growth mindset and thinking that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, there's always a way that you can do better and be better, you will have a much successful decade and decades after. Mm-hmm, so growth mindset is key.
Yeah. And also get comfortable with uncertainty and setbacks and failures. You're going to fail. There's going to be some L's you have to take. You actually have to. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it, baby. It's going to suck sometimes. And your 20s are going to be filled with some tension, right? Some twists, some turns, some uncertainty, some setbacks. But it's really a part of life. Like, the world is not going to end because you took an L. It's okay. And this is something that I'm even learning to be more comfortable with. Is there's going to be some things that knock me off my square. What's most important is that I get back up again. Because if you stay down,
you can't stay down.
You can't stay down. You have to learn how to take some shit on the chin and be like, okay, but we persevere.
Yeah, you cannot stay down.
You know what I mean?
If you stay down, you cannot stay down.
There's no option to stay down.
There's never been an option to stay down.
No.
Every time I've gotten knocked down, I've gotten back up.
You have to.
I've stumbled up, shot up, crawled up. A bitch was up.
Whether somebody had to pick me up. Listen, come on. You got to get up. And honestly, truly, when you develop that mindset of bruh, is going to happen. I might take an L. I will take an L. You prepare yourself for the twists and turns that are going to come later in life, because shit don't stop happening to you when you turn 30. Shit don't stop happening to you when you turn 40. It changes, y'all. The type of things that happen. Now, what the fuck? The type of things that happen are different, right? But you're still going to, I'm adjusting myself, so pardon me. You're still going to have to learn how to persevere and build a spirit of tenacity, because life is always going to life. It's gonna motherfucking life, right?
Yeah.
You might be dealing with like job loss, death.
I lost a job.
Yeah. I'm saying,
20s.
like, as you age, like, we start dealing with different things.
Different
like,
things, yeah.
Like I said, death, people are starting to pass.
Yeah,
prayerfully, nobody goes.
But they are going to.
Yeah.
That's just the reality.
Things happen. So prepare yourself to deal with uncertainty. Prepare yourself to be uncomfortable, because that's something that you are not going to be able to escape. So start getting used to the shit now.
So how would you advise your younger self to handle setbacks and failures in your 20s? Can you think of like a setback or a failure that you would have been, that you're like, I would have done that, I would have dealt with that way differently?
I think a specific setback. Let me think. I remember when I got fired, y'all. It was such I had got fired from this position, and I was doing so much. I felt like I was really excelling. I felt like I was excelling because this bitch, she was like, I feel like she was taking advantage of the fact that like I was always going to be there. She was a manager and I was like an assistant manager, and she would not show up all day and I would still like stay and work. And one day she just came in and fired me, like wrote a note. Literally,
I remember you telling me
and I was
this.
like, how, at the time I was so naive and I didn't understand. I was just like, okay, I'm taking an L, but that really hurt my ego and it hurt my feelings, you know? And obviously I didn't even go through the necessary chain of command to be like, call corporate and say this person. She probably made it seem like I quit.
What?
Because she really just wrote it out on paper.
But why do you think she wanted you to be gone if you were helping her so much?
She was a very sick girl. She would take advantage of people, and I don't know.
That's
she was
weird.
Sick. It's not for me to figure out that part, but I was naive. I didn't take the necessary steps to reach out to corporate and do my due diligence to be like, okay, well, this person fired me, so like, what are the next steps? I just was like, okay. She like paid me out through the register and shit, and it was very, very interesting and weird. Yeah. But I think that it hurt my feelings and it hurt my ego, and I'm already sort of like risk averse and like resistant to.
So any adversity is like,
I'm like, why? What did I do? Yeah. And I think that I naturally keep myself in a comfort zone where I don't have to experience much like resistance or pushback. So I think that in that particular moment, I would just tell myself like, it's going to happen. You know, I pray that nobody gets fired from a job multiple times, but like, you're going to have this experience where something will be taken from you, and how you respond and like move forward is going to really be the change in how you perceive your situation. Don't be super down about it. Like, it has nothing to do with you and more about, sometimes it do have something to do with you.
Sometimes
that didn't have anything to do with me. It wasn't a reflection on my character, more about that bitch. So, yeah. Got it. What about you? Do you have any experience or advice that you would give your younger self about, how to handle setbacks in your 20s?
What would I tell that girl?
What would you tell her? What would you tell Little Bit?
Germany, please. I wasn't even going by Little Bit.
I know, but it's funny. It's funny. I just like it. What would you tell Little Bit?
That was my high school nickname.
What would you tell her?
I would tell her, the thing is, I feel like I'm pretty good. Like, I don't know, my personality seems to be pretty good with setback and failure. I don't know if the word is resilient, but I automatically get into solution mode, and I feel like that has just been the way that I've been for as long as I can remember. Yeah. So even when I get knocked down, I get back up eventually. But what I would probably tell my 20-year-old self is, this is going to be so temporary. Like, most of the stuff that you feel like is a setup or a failure is not even going to matter soon. You know? Yeah. Like, it literally is not even going to be a blip in your memory. So don't feel like the world is ending. And I know that's easier to say in the present moment, but not to be callous towards your feelings or anything, but a lot of the stuff is just not that serious. And that's what I be telling to my little sister. She's emotional and an overthinker, and I'm like, girl, don't let this be what takes you over the edge, you know, because I'm here to tell you that this won't even matter. Yeah. Like, this will not even matter. And that's what I would tell my younger self, like, girl, why are you tripping? A lot of the things that I thought were a setup or a failure was a setup. Literally, it was a setup. So that's what I would tell her. Yeah. But it's going to be okay. Have your experiences. But have your moments. Have your experiences. Just know that you don't have to give up because this is not going to matter later. Or, you know, it's not going to be as a big part of your story later. Yeah. So feel it, but don't let it take you down. Yeah.
I recall a mistake that I had made in my 20s. It was credit cards, y'all. I remember that I had gotten a credit card at American Eagle. This was my first credit card ever at American Eagle. The balance, the limit was only like
$500 or
something small, like $500. Yeah. I think that was the least that they could do.
Probably $300 or something.
I think it was even $300. Yeah. It was a retail credit card. Mm-hmm.
So, and those are the worst ones to get.
Let me tell you. So I had gotten that $300 credit card, and I had bought up a bunch of stuff. I had used my employee discount, ran it up, paid it down. I started only paying the minimum to pay it down. I was like, this is how people do credit cards. Yeah, I just knew that this is what they do. Just pay your bill. They pay the minimum. So there would be some times that I would pay the minimum. Sometimes I wouldn't. And y'all, the bill had gotten so high. I had owed more on the credit card than I even had to spend. The limit, yeah. It had gotten up to like $480, $600, something like that. So they closed the credit card. And I still had to pay the money off. And when I had finally like got in touch with, like, you know, tapped in about my credit, it was like low too, like 6 something, right? And it was because that shit was in collections. So I did my due diligence. I paid it off. And from that moment, I was like, bruh, my credit is never going to be through the floor, down in hell again. I'm going to like be super mindful and diligent when I get a credit card. It just really changed the way that I looked at my finances. And I remember I was in my mid-20s by the time I really got the shit all taken care of. Mm-hmm. When I started really focusing on building back my credit, I had became so obsessed with it that I was just like only doing that, right? Paying everything down and working towards building it back up. And it took like a year and a half, 2 years to get it like into the mid-7s. And I was like, okay, this is good for now. But that really shaped my experience and how I dealt with money, and like was the foundation. That mistake, taking the mistake with that credit card, that really showed me, bitch, no, you got to be financially savvy. You have to be like more diligent and understand about, you know, how your choices are impacting you and how they're going to come back to haunt your ass if you're not on it. Yeah. Do you have like a specific experience or a mistake that you maybe felt like a mistake in your 20s that served as a learning experience that you're like, okay, that had to happen to make me who I am?
Definitely. I've had the credit card experiences too. But I remember, like, I've always wanted to just be on my own, independent. I feel like probably growing up in a house with hella siblings and just with my personality, I just was ready to go. Yeah. And so when I went to Sac State, that was the first university that I went to. Me and like some of my friends had all got an apartment. It was in Sacramento, and that Sacramento was like the IE here, so you can get an apartment for cheaper there. And we had it was like a new apartment complex, and we had got like a 4-bedroom apartment, so we all had our own room. Nice. But everybody didn't have a job. Only one of us had a job.
How did y'all even get in there?
We had our deposit. Yeah, it was different. It was different criteria back then. You know, it was just different. You can get into things and out of things easier. So only one of us had a consistent job. And I believe she was driving to the Bay to go to work.
Wait, you weren't the person with the job?
No. Can you imagine? Can you believe that? I wasn't the one with the job, y'all.
I just knew you were.
I moved out there without a job. I had planned to get a job, and I did eventually get a job. It's just that I didn't have a car at that moment. And my job was at the mall, and we live like in a suburban area, and the mall was downtown, and I was on public transportation, and I had to get to school and then to work. Okay, and then a lot is happening. It was like minimal hours. And so every month I'm calling home for my portion of the rent. And my mom was like,
No.
you could come home.
Yeah,
like,
I can't.
No, Brittany, like, this is not gonna work. And and that's when it clicked with me. I said, I'm never asking nobody for nothing. I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna have a job. I'm gonna have my money for my rent. Now that apartment ended up falling through. It didn't happen immediately. But that's when it clicked in my mind that from that point on, after we had got kicked out of that, we didn't get kicked out. We left.
Okay.
But
didn't give eviction.
Because we couldn't afford it. All of us couldn't afford it. After that period of struggle, that really felt like a low moment for me. I'm like, what the hell? I don't got no money for rent. Me and my homegirl were walking to the store. It was really giving struggle. It felt like a struggle. And I said, I'm not, this is not going to be the type of life I'm living. I'm going to be a girl who has a job, who can always pay her bills, and she don't have to call nobody for nothing.
And that's such a stark difference from your upbringing, right? It's like you weren't living in a house where you were struggling, and now you're out struggling by yourself. I've had experiences like that. I remember my mom tried to play. There's really something that happens when you're living under your parents' roof as a young adult. You trying to move and groove, and they trying to show you, like, actually you ain't moving and grooving like the way you think you are. Mm-hmm. You still in my house. And me and my mom were like clashing. We were getting into it. And I'm just giving y'all this little tidbit about my mom. She is she's always had money. She's always had coin. And sometimes she can use the coin over you. You know, she'll put it over you. Yeah, she'll use it like my mom paid for all my to control you low key, because she knows, like, I'm paying for everything. My mom was paying for my, like, college out of pocket. She bought my car. Everything was coming from her, right? And I had a little job, but that was like little play money. I just get my hair done and stuff with that. And I remember me and my mom got into it, and we were literally like funking. And she was like, I'm not gonna pay for something. And that shook me. I think she was like, I'm not paying for school next season, next semester. And I'm like, you're not what?
Right.
Or she said something. She had made a few comments like, you gonna play with me and you gonna see you're not gonna get my money. And I'm like, that's my livelihood. Why would you? Those kind of things are off the table. Some things are just too low. You know, you hitting below the belt.
I mean, but you was talking like you could handle it probably.
No. But certain things you don't. I'm your child and you are taking care of me. So at this point, you can't be like, I'm not going to pay for this. I'm not going to pay. You basically kicking me out. You basically saying there's no more love here.
No, she's not kicking you out. She's saying that.
No. You don't tell a person, I'm not going to pay for your cell phone.
If they're acting up, I will.
I wasn't acting up. I've never been a bad child. If we disagree on something, you can't immediately go to the most extreme. Okay, if it was just a disagreement. Yeah, no. But y'all, she said she wasn't going to pay for, like, school or a cell phone. Do y'all know I went in my room? I went in my room because I was still living at home. And I got on the phone with AT&T and I'm like, I actually need to transfer this service. And I put my phone in my name. She was playing around with me saying she wasn't going to pay for school. I had went and got a loan. I went and applied for a student loan. And I paid for my own school. It was the last semester of school because she was really going in. And I paid for it with that loan. That I was like, I got to show this girl. You are not gonna. I will emancipate myself. That was that was my era. Emancipation. My era of emancipating myself.
Emancipation of Gigi.
It was emancipation of Gigi. I started cutting the cord. I was like, she was like, at one point she was telling me like, you know, you're gonna try to make me financially independent, and she was like, you're gonna start paying your own car note. I was like, if I'm gonna pay for my own car note, then I'm getting the car I want. And I went and traded it.
Okay, you sound like a brat at this point.
I'm not being a brat. I'm just being honest.
If you're paying your own, if you're an adult and she's telling you have to pay your own car,
I was probably like 23 at the time. It was when I got that Mini Cooper.
Bro.
But it would be as a response. It wouldn't be like, hey, Germany, sitting down. It's all about the timing, right? And the approach. It's not like, hey, Germany, I think you're at the point where you could start contributing and paying for certain things. It would be coming out of a place of
spite.
Get back. You want to put the knife in and turn it. Exactly. Spite. So then I'm thinking, okay, if we go in there, then let's go there. Because one thing about me, you can't keep me down. It doesn't matter who. I will be kept down. I will make a way out of no way. So yeah, I was like, okay, that's fine. If I'm going to pay for the car, I'm getting the car I want. So this one will be traded. It really be about showing people what the fuck is up. And I love my mama to death. It was more about me.
Yeah.
Standing on business.
Well, with
for
me,
myself.
I wasn't trying to show anybody. I was trying to show myself.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to take care of myself and live the life that I wanted to live without having to ask anybody for anything. And if they said no longer being able to do it. Like, now you got to come home. If you don't got it, the answer is not, we going to give it to you. It's you got to come home. You know,
yeah, no, we can't give it.
I don't want to come home. I didn't want to live at home. Not like home was terrible, but I just didn't want to live at home. I wanted to move to LA. And ever since then, I've never asked for nobody for my rent. The rent has been covered, thank God.
Paid.
Now my mom she has a generous heart, so she would be sending me money and stuff.
Yeah,
but it wasn't like the bills aren't paid because I don't have your money. This is a love offering.
Yeah, at this point, I just want to make sure my baby knows that I care.
Period.
Giving you a little something. Okay, girlies, we're gonna take a quick break, and we're coming back with more advice and tools for your toolkit.
Yes. Before we get into the tools for the toolkit, we got to make sure y'all are back on your Zooms. If we're back on our Zoom, you got to turn your camera on too. Okay? We don't want to be the only ones with our cameras on. Ratings and the reviews are still important, so please make sure you're rating and reviewing the podcast, sharing the episodes with the homegirl. And yeah.
And joining us over at the Homegirl Hangout. Although we took a break from the pod on the main platform, we did not take a break from our Homegirl Hangout and our girlies over on Patreon. So if you love the content or like the content that you're receiving here, we know you'll love the content that's over at the Homegirl Hangout. There's years and years and years and years of archived content. So there's bonus episodes, there's mid-month check-ins where we just get to kiki and talk about how we're feeling, what we're going through, affirmations, journal prompts. There's so many things over there. So if you're looking for more, please click the link in the show notes.
Do that for us.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to the show. Okay, y'all, tools.
Yeah, the tools.
Some things, some nuggets to take with you on your journey.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in your 20s, and maybe you're not in your 20s, and it's like, hey, I didn't have that one, but now it's clicking for me.
Mm-hmm.
These are for you. So let's break it down into categories. Let's start with career and education. What's some advice that you would give to your 20-year-old self? What would you tell her?
I would have probably told myself to major in something that would get me licensed, that I would be licensed or certified in at the end, you know, not just a general ambiguous.
Like a nurse.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom tried to push me into nursing. My mom's a nurse. And I tried. I started off, wasn't even starting strong, but I went in there with the heart. The heart posture was I could do this.
Yeah.
But when the brain posture had to,
they weren't aligned. The heart and the brain were not aligned.
They were not aligned. It didn't work out. But I really wish I would have stuck through it, because I know that I could have.
You could have.
I could have.
If you would have applied yourself.
Exactly. It came down to application. And because it didn't feel good in the moment, I was like, I can't do this. I was really depressed, but I should have been able to, I should have made myself like turn on a different something, like, okay, girl, you're gonna have to get
for this short period of time.
Yeah, it didn't feel short though.
I know. I feel you. I too was a bio major.
The classes, I'm like, I can't get through
the classes, the lab. I felt so silly. I felt stupid. I'm like, what?
How? But I know that if I would have applied myself and really carved out time to study and took it seriously, I wanted to just do something that came natural and easy to me, and like sociology, psychology, things of that nature. The social sciences were a breeze.
Same. That's how I ended up in psychology.
The arts,
the thought
a breeze.
process, my thought process behind the major that I eventually ended up in was just, let me get this done. Not what can I do with this after. In a serious way. Of course, it's like, hey, you can go.
Because they think of you, the way they approach college is very like, in theory, this should help you out. But I needed something that in practice will really take me up out of here and into the next space. So I really wish that I would have became licensed engineer. I could have probably never been an engineer, bitch, but something like engineering, nursing, something that like, okay, go apply, go take the test and start working. That I would have really wish I would have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have do something like that, or do something that I was actually like interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've always wanted to work in the entertainment industry. And I kind of work in the entertainment industry now, but like, I wanted to be the girly in it. Like, you know,
the mover and the shaker,
marketing officer.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah,
an executive in the entertainment industry. And that could have been achievable if I would have been intentional about my path. That could have come down to the school that I went to.
Yeah.
Where, like, you know, do I need to be in New York? I can be in LA, but like, where do I need to be doing? What steps do I need to be taking to ensure that this takes place? It was just like I got to get this done. Like, I still had a high school mindset in college, which wasn't advantageous.
No.
You know?
No. I also probably would have sat grad school out. Wouldn't have did. I always say that. I would have left that right where I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to do that. I think, again, if you're doing something that is really, it has an advanced degree where you get a doctoral degree in something, you know, like you end with a doctorate and now you can go. I needed to income to outcome.
Yeah,
that's what I need. I needed to income to outcome. And I feel like when you're doing like social sciences, advanced degrees, it's kind of general and vague and you got to make something out of it. You don't just get something out of it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get something. I probably
unless it's like a therapist or like a psychologist.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That, again, licensed.
You need to be You need
to have a doctoral degree, get licensed. That's different. But I think I would have sat grad school out and maybe got like some sort of certificates. If I was interested in something like a certification, explore things like that as opposed to literally locking in and paying $60,000. Oh, that pains me, y'all. That is really that. It's the money that I spent on it that I didn't need to spend on it because I did not finish college with loans. That is my biggest regret.
Undergrad.
I didn't finish undergrad with any loans. So taking out student loans, there was no way I could ask my mom to pay for grad school, obviously. So taking out loans at the time felt like this is something that I want to do. So obviously I'm investing in it, but I don't feel like I got the return. There was no ROI. So I would have sat that out. And I think also I would have networked more intentionally. You know,
Definitely.
like really not thinking about networking as like transactional or I'm going to do this for that, but really trying to foster a community or a system where it's like I could really reach out and touch this person if I needed to, or I can call them and they're going to set something, you know, like really working together and collaborating. I think that's really what I would have told myself in the college career educational sector.
Yeah.
It's important.
That is important. And also we went to a commuter school. I mean, I like what I got from our college, but going to bigger colleges and like universities, you can see how those networks are bigger and how people really like utilize and tap into those. And like at Dominguez, it's kind of like you go to work and you go home, you know, you go to, you know, it's like, or you go to school and go to work.
Mm-hmm.
What I would have told myself, like as it pertains to career or in education is to explore more. I really think that I should have used those years to like be more explorative and do internships. The thing is, like, because I had said I'm never going to ask somebody for nothing, I'm going to need to be able to pay for my rent. I was working full time through college, and I really wish that I had a different setup. I really wish that I was set up to where I didn't have to work full time to support myself financially. And so I would have been able to use that time to do internships and explore different industries that were actually of interest for me instead of just operating out of survival.
Yeah.
So if you do have that advantage, I would say definitely do that. Like, be more intentional, do internships. There's so many different internship programs that I see now. And the thing is, they're paid now because people see that it's unethical to not pay you. So you can get a paid internship working in tech or
and use that
working
to get
in
your
marketing.
Foot in the door.
Yeah, so you already have a resume. Like there's,
I feel like we were using our internships depending on what major you had to just meet the graduation requirement. Like, okay, I gotta, you know.
No, but there's some people who were like, I interned at Google and you
gotta be savvy.
Interned at Deloitte, and then once I graduated, I had an offer waiting for me. Like there's people from interning in high school summer break. Like, you know, that is not the mindset of a lot of people in our community. And I want us to have a shift.
A shift needs to occur.
Okay, let's talk about relationships now.
Baby, now this is where all the advice gonna come from.
Relationships and life decisions. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
I would tell myself to avoid feeling the pressure or having an expectation to stay in an LTR, a long-term relationship, beyond the expiration date.
Please.
That's what I would tell myself. You don't have to lock in with somebody or hold somebody. I would tell myself, girl, you don't need to have a ride or die mentality for a nigga that you just dated. You feel
Especially,
me?
yeah.
Like, we be so overly committed to...
I have a ride or die demeanor. The ride or die, like, it just turns on, and I'm like, bitch, you need to turn that off.
You gotta check that, though.
Why are you even riding?
Right. Why are you dying? Girl, ride and get out. Get out when it's time to get out, okay? And that's what I would tell myself.
Literally ride. Sometimes I be driving.
Okay. I don't want you driving now, passenger princess. Yeah.
Listen.
I would tell myself it's okay to walk away when it's done. It's done. And also, I would tell myself to not let anybody make you feel bad, guilt tripping you for when you want to leave.
Oh, God. Because this for me.
I've
been guilt tripped so many times.
They do that. I was in an LTR, y'all, long-term relationship.
I fell for it.
Yeah, we do. We do, because we're blinded. We have our glasses on. I was in a long-term relationship with somebody for like 10 years, right? And if I was with them for 10 years, and we were together in our late teens throughout the whole 20s. So we had 2 stints. And when I got ready to good and well damn well to leave, they would literally try to make me feel bad for my decision. I've had this on multiple instances, though, where people feel like you're their lot, like, right, they can't live without you, they can't breathe without you, and now feeling like something bad will happen to them if you're not there.
Oh my,
that is mentally
they all be
exhausting.
singing the same song,
and once you realize it's a ploy, it's a trick.
Once you realize that they are, and here I am, I'm thinking, wow, I'm so special to someone. I mean this much to someone.
No,
I'm such a big
lifeline
part of this person's life that they don't feel like they can go on without me. Whole time they go on. They very well go on.
They go on.
And I'm left feeling guilt tripped and bad and like, oh, this person, and holding back and taking away prime years of my life.
Yeah.
It prime. Sucks. I'm never going to get those years fucking back. Playing around with somebody.
And, yeah. Yeah, I will also, this is the biggie. And I feel like you could take this nugget with you no matter what age you are. Focus more on a person who they are in the moment and less on their potential.
Baby, that applies each decade.
The potential gonna eat you up each and every time, y'all know. No,
I've been ate up and spat out.
It's heavy on the if they wanted to they would, and if they did it would be right in front of you. You would be seeing the evidence.
I wouldn't even say if they wanted to they would, because some people be wanting to.
I don't. Okay, well, take the desire. You know what I'm saying? I needed to manifest. You need to see evidence of the desire. That's what I'm saying.
You have to see evidence. Potential. I'm an idealizer. I can definitely take potential and run with it. But that's not good. You have to see people for where they are. And you also have to look at, I was listening to something and I already have felt like this, but they were like, you really have to pay attention to patterns. Ask questions, get inquisitive. See how people showed up in their other relationships. I know maybe in your 20s it's a little different, but in your 30s you have more to build upon to see how people showed up in their other relationships, why they ended, what was going on, to figure out. Or
even focus on the patterns in the current relationship.
I know, but I'm saying when you first start, you don't have those.
I'm talking about within the actual relationship, because there are patterns in a relationship, the current relationship that you're in, and sometimes we just ignore them.
Definitely.
So really think about, is this person the kind of person that I want to be with for real? Are they showing up as the version of themselves that I can work with? Not like, oh, they say they want to do it, it's gonna happen, I see it for them. We got to stop seeing stuff for people that they don't see for themselves. And I know that I have been a visionary for some niggas, and it's like, I know that you can, I see it, it's gonna happen, and it don't.
Right.
And we got to take that off. Take off your glasses.
Well, the thing that gets me is sometimes I see it and they see it too.
Y'all both be seeing
it. We both see it. We both see it. And then when we're talking about the guilt trip, I feel like sometimes people guilt trip you to making it seem like you're not supportive, like you're skeptic that I'm capable. Now it's not a woman is supposed to lift you up and encourage you, not shoot you down. But I haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? So don't let nobody guilt trip you when it comes to that either. Don't let nobody guilt trip you when you feel like maybe the potential won't be potential, and it's flipped on its back as a you're not supportive and you don't believe in me type of thing.
When it comes to a
The
romantic
belief
relationship,
can only go so far. I have to see some evidence.
when it comes to the romantic relationship with these men or whoever you're dealing with, when you're done, you're done. However you're feeling, and you are not being irrational, and it's come with a lot of intentionality and kind consideration, care. When you make a decision, stand on it. That's really what it comes down to. And don't let nobody make you feel otherwise for your decision. And play with your motherfucking mind. People will play with your mind. People will play with your mind. I've had my mind played with before. My mind was played with. Somebody tricked me into believing, not tricked me, but they just swore they were real
advanced. What?
I mean, getting busy. Like, I'm an artist, I'm a creative, I'm this, I'm that.
What did they trick you into believing?
This is the thing. Like, I wasn't on social media for a while. And then when I got on social media, I was dealing with somebody who was rather insecure. And I feel like I can see that now, that they were insecure, and they would try to project, like, okay, you don't need to be on social media because, I don't want my girl on social media. My girl don't need to be on social media. But I'm on social media because I'm an artist, or I'm making it seem like
this is the only reason why I'm on.
Yeah, like we really shouldn't, but because I am and I have this going on, nigga, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I'm also going to say, don't make nobody beg you. No, don't beg nobody for their love. Yeah. I feel like there were a lot of times in my 20s that I was like,
I feel like saying,
like pulling, and it might not have been like, love me, but my actions were giving, love me. Like, see, I can be the one for you. And It's like, ladies, you're the prize. You are the gemstone. You are the flower. And people need to understand that about you immediately from the jump. It don't take no work, okay? You don't have to strive and prove to a person that you deserve to be treated in a certain way. That's dead. That's out. Mm-hmm. That's dead and that's out. And I've had these moments where I've done that. And no, never again. Never again. I was dating a rapper nigga who would have shows and wouldn't even extend the invitation to me.
Wild.
Would barely want me there vibes. And it's like, nigga, I'm your biggest fan. Literally, I'm fanning you in real life.
Right.
I'm your fan in real life.
And I can't be there at the show.
But the thing is, I know your real shit.
Right.
I know what you really going through. I know what you really struggling with.
You.
You're struggling mentally.
Right.
And I'm here like
supporting you
and being an ally for you and lifting you up and championing you. And you want to make it seem like that is just like, you really don't understand. This is just work for me. Nigga, you are 20 something rapping. Why wouldn't I be able to come? And that is why I say if they wanted to, they would, because I would never.
Yeah.
You really play with me.
Yeah.
And something else, you know what I want to say?
What? Say it.
I want to say, when I'm saying that y'all the prize, I really strongly feel like I'm the best thing that ever happened to every nigga that I've ever been with. And it's only one that I feel like is still doing okay without me. But it's one that's doing okay without me. But the other one, don't play with me on this mic. You know I can't say it out loud.
I'm just wondering.
I'm always in their heart and on their mind. But some I look back on and I'm like, you see, you really fumbled.
Oh, they down. And if they down bad.
I mean, they be down. They be down, and I'm like, I was the best thing that ever happened to you, nigga. The best thing you ever had, and you let it go.
I like to believe that I'm the best. I don't like when the nigga elevates.
They rarely do. The thing is, they rarely do.
I don't want to see it if you have.
They don't. They rarely do. These niggas don't be elevating. No, there's only one that I know who you're talking about. I know you're talking about. But that's because I also met him much later in life, and he was already on the path.
Established. Yeah.
But the ones that you be in the trenches with, when you decide, ooh, women, we are the prize. Ladies, we are the prize. We really make a thing a thing. So when you remove your thing, you see how much of a thing it ain't.
How much of an impact you have.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, baby, I've seen it.
I see my impact.
You actually look crazy.
You actually are a dub.
I would never.
There's some niggas I look back, I'm like,
in today's times, I would fucking never.
Baby, I'm the best thing you had.
I was holding you up. Which was bad. I shouldn't have been.
No, don't want to be. Don't want to be the pillar. Don't want to be the anchor. But I was. And now I see you're going down. You look like shit. What they say? Tried to steal our bit, but you look like shit. You look like shit. I've looked.
I've seen
everything that I need to see, and I don't see any elevation. There's been no elevation from you, Poppy. What a joke.
Girl.
So those are my things.
Those are your things. Clearly we're passionate about this.
And I have one more thing to say.
What?
I want to say never underestimate the value of homegirls.
Oh, yeah.
Community, friendship. Don't choose a man over your friends on no given day, on no given month, time hour. The homegirls are superior. And I don't
Superior.
they are superior. And I don't care if you're in a marriage, because I feel like there's space for both. Don't think that what you share with a man in any capacity
or a woman,
whoever, is comparable to what you share with your friends, because you're never going to be able to get what you get from a friendship, from a relationship. Even if you and your partner are friends, they're made up of different things, right? Different stuff. So I really want us to value and understand that that is the fruit of our lives. Like,
I know I've gotten so much for friendship.
Come on.
It's been so fulfilling, and I couldn't imagine just kicking it all to the curb.
These men gonna come and
go. They will come and go. So many have come and so many have gone, and the friends have been consistent.
They remain.
And I couldn't imagine if I kicked my homegirls to the curb every time a man came into my life, and then I'm like, well, he's going, hey, girl.
Oh, you wouldn't be a good friend.
No.
You wouldn't be a good friend, and I wouldn't tolerate it, because you ain't gonna keep coming in and out of my life. Just stay gone, girl. Yeah. Stay gone. Those kind of girls need help, need healing.
Yeah.
They need sisterhood. Okay, what about you? I'm sorry, I had so much to say.
So much to say.
I'm passionate about that topic.
What I would say is, you don't attract what you want. You attract who you are. That, if I would have been told that at a younger age, I feel like I would have been in a lot of different relationships and situations and not in things as long, if I would have just focused on becoming the version of myself that I wanted to be. Not saying that, can't date, can't experience people, but I really do think we do attract how we feel about ourselves and how we show up. So it's really important to prioritize that and notice that the type of people you are attracting shifts.
Yeah. Quality. You start bringing in something better.
The quality changes.
Yeah.
If you're feeling low, having low self-worth, not feeling like you're worthy of something good, you're going to accept whatever's being presented, the scraps, and try to make something out of it.
I hate the word scrap.
The jail meal?
What is that?
They be making
that? Oh, a jail meal.
What they be making? What's that? They be making called with the hot chips and
they be making. I forgot.
Not a smear. It's called something.
What are those jail meals called, y'all? Y'all tell us. When they be putting everything together.
That
I forgot what it called.
Another thing.
A prison meal.
I would say use this time to prioritize yourself. If you're in your 20s, prioritize yourself, because there's going to become a time where you're not going to be able to prioritize yourself. If you do desire marriage, if you do desire children, work, other obligations come into the mix where you're not able, especially marriage and children. Let's just keep it real. Where you're not able to be the priority. Other things, especially if you decide to have children, have to be the priority. And you're not going to be able to be selfish like you are when you don't have those priorities. So if those are some things that you desire, take advantage of this time. Take advantage of this time to go where you want to go. Travel. Not have to answer to anybody. Not have to consider anybody else's needs or desires. You get to do whatever you want at this time. And sometimes I feel like we don't fully live our lives because we're waiting for these things to happen. And we feel like life is going to start when they happen. And you realize, oh, shit, actually, life is looking a little different. And I don't get to live the way that I thought I was going to be able to live. So live now.
Live now.
Life doesn't start when you get married. Life doesn't start when you get kids, when you have kids. Life is happening now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Definitely take time to prioritize yourself. And lastly, for the relationships, I would say attention is cheap. It is. Attention is coming from every which way. If you're attractive or you're attractive to somebody, people give attention, especially fucking men. But don't let attention override respect.
Keep that at the forefront.
And adoration. We need to make sure these niggas really like us, like they really care about us, that they really have our best interests at heart. Just giving us attention and being like, oh, the little cheat is weak. That's not enough to give people our time, our bodies, our mouths, our resources. It's not enough.
Yeah.
So really take that with a grain of salt. Expect that. And be looking for the more. Like, you need to be head over heels. If you're not head over heels,
What are we doing?
I don't have nothing.
baby.
If you think that you're the prize, I don't have nothing.
Ooh.
I
actually need ground that I walk on to be worshipped.
Yeah.
That's the vibe that I want.
I will worship the ground you walk on too. It's not just going to be your worshiping the ground I walk on.
No.
But I was talking to a man and he was like, women would get a lot further if they just focused on the men who respect and like them. Instead of trying to make people love us or make people see our worth or overexert ourselves. And we will do that. We will go above and beyond and be like, see, can't you see that I'm like a great pick? Like I do this, I do that. I'm someone that you need in your life. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to do that.
No,
if they can't see it when they enter the doors, turn them around. Quickly turn them around. Actually, you came through the wrong door. Turn around.
Yeah. I love all that advice, girls. Take that seriously. Take it to heart.
Take it to heart. Keep it at the forefront of your mind. You should be disgusted. We should literally start.
You should throw up.
We should really start to be repulsed. If a nigga is like acting like we're optional in any way in a relationship before entering, like,
yeah,
you're actually ugly now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't.
And act on those impulses.
Yeah, act
on the impulses. Remove yourself. Let other people play.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly remove yourself.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Period.
Another piece. Quickly move.
Those feet. Put on your track shoes. Okay, last category that we are going to give you advice from or give ourselves advice from is personal growth and development. So I would have told myself to try a bunch of different things, right? Explore some different hobbies, interests, see if some side hustles move you, not just be limited to
going to work and going home.
Yeah, like I've been doing that for so long. Right. I've been doing that since I could start work, since I was able to get my permit or whatever the fuck. Work permit. So I would tell myself to like explore what you're drawn to, what interests you. And if you don't know, then that's more advice. Figure it out.
Yeah.
If you literally have no idea of like, oh, what do I like? Start to engage with yourself in that way. And also not looking at interests or hobbies that you only want to do because your friends are doing them. Like, what do you really feel called to do? They might be hiking, but maybe you don't want to hike. Maybe you want to skate.
Right.
Maybe you want to paint. Maybe you want to travel. Maybe that is like solo travel is what I'm interested in. I would tell myself that. And read more books.
Reading books is good.
I would tell myself, read more books, girl. Yeah. Figure some shit out. Get in the book. Put your nose in. And I used to be a book girly.
Yeah, as a kid, yeah. We all were.
I was really, not everybody.
Oh, I was a book girl.
I was a book girl.
Babysitter's Club,
yes. Goosebumps,
Junie
B. Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in all the books.
Did you read Babysitter's Club?
Of course.
Okay, period.
Remember those books that you could read where you could change the ending, like go to page.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love those. I used to love those. I would check both. I would never just go to the page that I want to go to and just be like, okay.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I want to see what's on both ends of the coin. Okay, I'm actually going with that one. Yeah. What about you?
For personal growth and development, I would say never stop being curious about yourselves and others. I think that's such a good quality to have, to like be curious and inquisitive, and I think it keeps you young. I feel like not being curious and having a fixed mindset ages you. You so damn.
I know, I'm working on that.
I'm not even talking about shit.
I know, but I said I'm working on it.
I know, and I'm just saying it's just so like, them uptight old people.
Yeah, no.
Like, fuck. But the people that are like still have the youth and
the
then
spark.
And the spark, and they're
the fire.
Always looking to learn more and explore and talk to the younger generations and share their wisdom. I think that's just beautiful.
Yeah, very attractive.
Yeah. So stay curious.
Yeah. Stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous and stay curious.
And there's so many other things that we can give advice on, but I feel like we've covered a lot throughout this topic. If there's something that you feel like you want to share, like this, if you're an older girl, even older than us, I would love for you to share in the comments some wisdom that you would like to impart on the 30-somethings, something that can be passed on to the 20-somethings. We're each one teach one.
What would you share to the decade under you?
Yes. What would you share to the decade
under you? Let's get a tree going.
So it is time to transition to our final segment of the show. I feel like it's taken us so long to get here. This has been a great show coming back. But it's time to pick up your pen. We're dropping a gem. So if you are new here, this is the part of the show where we get to share things that we're obsessed with, that we're loving, experiences that we're having that we think that you might enjoy as well. This is also the part of the show where you could share a gem with us, right? You can use our Homegirl Hotline to share something that you think. Yeah, the hotline's been dead because y'all ain't been using it. Use something that you feel like the community might benefit from. So that number is down in the show notes.
So
that's our gym this week.
While we've been away, a lot of things have been tried, but one of the things that we want to share is the Elemis cleansing balm. So double cleansing is not a new thing. The girlies have been double cleansing. And when we went to Belize, I had got like travel size of products. So, you got to bring your shit. And luckily, this is one of the things that made it on the trip. Y'all done heard the story about all the things that did it.
They probably didn't hear the story.
Okay, well, get on Patreon.
Yeah.
So I got a trial size of the Elemis cleansing balm because I had been seeing it around, but I had a cleansing balm that I thought was working well. But baby, this Elemis, so it is the Elemis Pro Collagen Naked Cleansing Balm. It is so good. It removes your makeup, all the impurities on your skin, and I really like the consistency. I really like how it made my skin feel. I really like how my skin has been looking since using it. I had to invest in the full size, which I won't say is cheap, but it has 2,000 reviews on Sephora, all 5 stars. That's pretty good because people in Sephora, they don't play.
Yeah, it's a good product.
They don't play. And I think it's worth it. I feel like my skin has transformed.
Oh, wow.
I feel like my skin has transformed since using it. So it's a staple in my routine. If you're looking for a cleansing balm, I would say give it a try. You can try a trial size. They have it at Sephora. They have it at Nordstrom, and you can get it on their website, of course.
Have it at Ulta.
They have it at Ulta.
Yeah.
You're an Ulta girl.
I like that it made my skin feel very supple.
It definitely makes it feel supple and hydrated.
With the making it supple, bringing back the suppleness.
And I need collagen.
Yeah, the girls do need collagen in their routine. So it's nice to have a topical.
As a woman who's getting older.
Yeah. But yeah, the link to the gym this week will be in the show notes. So if you're interested in trying that, you'll have easy access to reading up and getting more information on it. Okay, y'all, we have talked a lot.
Baby.
We have talked a lot. This was an earful. But it's great to be back. Thank y'all so much for riding with us, for continuing to support Brittany and I. And we can't wait to come back again next week with another new episode.
We're back at it.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.